such intense music. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's go. So, over the past, I think it's 10 years, I've been researching online behavior, or probably more exact, trying to understand what makes people buy. You see, I don't focus on products or features, I focus on emotion. What are the different psychological triggers that we have that make us actually buy something? And so I translate that knowledge into hundreds of A/B tests, and I try to optimize websites. But more importantly, I try to create better experiences online for customers. And so I was really excited last year when I got a call from a Chinese company, the third largest e-commerce company in Asia, asking me to come over to China and meet them. Essentially, they wanted me to help them localize their business. They were doing really, really well in Asia, but they weren't doing too well in Europe and the States. And it was my job to come in and teach them how to optimize their website for the West. And this is really cool because I got to actually travel all the way from home to Beijing. And I spent a ton of time researching and preparing for this meeting. I did an entire built personas, and I went into psychological triggers, and I built an entire presentation of what makes people buy. We all know it's true, right? And I worked really hard on this, and I knew that I was going to nail this meeting. And I prepared really well for the meeting. But it was only about an hour before my meeting, when I'm sitting in a cab, in a taxi, in Beijing in China, that I realized that I didn't really prepare for China itself. And I realized this because it was then I started remembering that someone said that my apps aren't going to work in China. How many of you have been to China here before? Okay, quite a few. So when I say apps that don't work, I mean, Facebook and Twitter and Gmail and just one insignificant app called Google Maps. Now, I wasn't smart enough to write down the address in Chinese. I wrote it in English. And I'm sitting in the cab, and I'm trying to speak to the cab driver and tell him where to go, and he's staring at me like I'm speaking English, and he doesn't understand anything that I'm saying, and I don't understand Chinese, and I'm getting really frustrated. So I did the natural thing. I tried to download the equivalent app in China, which I don't know what that says, but it doesn't accept English fonts. So essentially, I was going crazy, and basically I was thinking, oh no, I've got, an hour to get to this meeting, I'm going to be late, what am I going to do? And I'm talking to this guy, and even though just a few minutes ago I was absolutely sure I was going to make this meeting, I am going insane. And so I get out the cab and I run around frantically looking for a cab driver that speaks English, and I find one, I think, because he's doing this. That's safe for sure. And I'm thinking, great, I'm on my way, perfect. And I'm thinking, well, when I was home, it was a 10-minute drive in a car. So, I've got 40 more minutes, I'm fine, no problem. I think it was about 45 minutes later, when I'm pulling my hair out during this ride, that I realized that I'm actually late for this meeting. But then we pull up in front of this amazing building, and I literally throw my money at the cab driver, and I start running into this building, and I say, I have this meeting, and I'm already 5 minutes late. And this guy just looks at me, and he's like, huh? What? Okay, so he doesn't understand English, and I'm starting to think maybe I should have learned Chinese. That could have been helpful. And I'm running around. And by this time, guys, I look like I've run a marathon. I do not look ready for a meeting at all. And I find someone who actually speaks English, and I really am. I'm just frustrated, and I look like I've just come from the gym. And this guy looks at me, and he looks like he just got up from a nap. And he says, oh, that office is on the other side of Beijing. It's about an hour away. What? So this is when I'm thinking, okay, it's time to start drinking, right? I mean, I prepared for like a month. and I'm not going to make this meeting. And he did actually write the address in Chinese, duh, and then took me an hour. And obviously, I didn't make the meeting. Guys, I lost a multi-million-dollar account because I didn't do my research. I didn't write the stupid address in Chinese. Multi-million-dollar. Anyway, so the thing is that it's only because, this company wanted me to help them localize their entire website for all of the West, and I couldn't navigate a city, right? And it's only because I didn't do my research. And the thing is that all over the world, companies are making the same mistakes. They're not doing their research, and they're losing a ton of money. In fact, by the end of this year, there's going to be a $275 billion loss in online revenues because companies aren't doing their research. You see, even though the average website has over 65% of mobile traffic, marketers are still choosing to treat their mobile visitors as if they were desktop ones. Let me show you what I mean. Our go-to solution today is responsive design. We design for desktop. And then what we do is we condense all of that content into a mobile screen and think, that's going to work. Perfect. Everyone's the same. Just like I thought that China's going to be exactly the same way as everywhere else in the world. And everyone's doing it. There's Macy's and Bank of America, and we've got Microsoft and Skype, and tons of companies are doing this. The only problem is that mobile visitors are arriving to these websites. They can't find what they're looking for, and they leave. And this is causing a 270% gap in conversions between mobile and desktop. This is crazy. In fact, mobile experiences suck so badly that a recent neuroscience study actually found that the level of stress that you have when you're using your mobile phone to try and purchase something is compared to the level of stress you feel when you're watching a horror film. How bad is that? I don't know about you, but I hate horror films. Like, I can't watch them. That's just terrible. And the thing is, this is all happening because of one simple thing. When we're on our mobile phones, we're different people. We have a different state of mind. We're multitasking, we're on the go. We are at home and we're watching TV, but we're trying to ordering food, right? Or maybe we're in a meeting and we're trying to text someone, or in this case, in the middle of a fight, or we're stuck with our car and we need someone to help us, or maybe we're in a shop and we're trying to compare prices, because this is what people do today. We might just be stuck outside our house and need help. But whatever we're doing on mobile, what we're not doing is this. We're no longer sitting in front of a huge computer and have a ton of time to do all our research and find what we're looking for. And you see, it's not just our state of mind, it's also our behavior. We behave differently on mobile. And I thought I'd show you what I mean about me, because you see, when I'm on desktop, I'm a really professional person. I'm on Intercom, I'm using Slack, I'm building a presentation for this event, which is very meta, and which is really cool. But then there's Talia on desktop and there's Talia on mobile. So Talia desktop, very professional. Talia on mobile, not so much. So this is me searching for how to make apple pie from bananas. Then there's real screenshots. How to color my hair purple, which didn't work because it's pink. Then it's how to learn Chinese in 1 hour, because that could have helped. And the most important one is, where is my Hogwarts acceptance letter? Because I still haven't gotten that. Really important things. And you see, if I ask you guys, and I'd love to see with show of hands, how many of you know what percentage of your traffic is mobile? How many of you know that without looking at Google Analytics right now? Okay, about 50%. We're talking about 50% that know to tell me right now how much of their traffic is mobile. But what if I asked you what people search for on mobile? Oops, yeah. What do people search for on mobile? You see, we're searching for different things. I just showed you. We're searching for different things because we're looking for different things and we have a different behavior. And then if we're searching for something different, that also means that we're landing on different pages. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're landing on the same place that the desktop visitor's landing. And so this is why we have to understand these important numbers and important behaviors, because in order to convert more on mobile, we need two things. We need to basically understand people better, what they're thinking and how they feel, and we need to understand behavior better, what they actually do on their mobile phones. And only then can we actually give them an experience that they want and need. What they want and need. Not what we want, but what they want. And that's when the conversion is going to happen. Essentially, what we want to do is give them a personalized experience. And the reason we want to do this is because we live in a world with hyper-information. Everything's coming at us in 24/7, right? Everything that we want, we have at the tip of our fingers, which is great. But the only problem is that a wealth of information also creates a poverty of attention. And when we have too many calls to action, too many people texting us and calling us and ads everywhere, we get confused. And we don't know what to do. And actually, it's a psychological trigger. It's called analysis paralysis. Our brains just shut down. Too many options? Oh, thank you, goodbye. No idea what I want to do. And that's why it's not surprising that 86% of us are willing to pay so much more just to get a personalized experience. Our customers are asking us to help them and tell them what to buy. Basically, what we're doing is we're trying to sell this when everyone else just wants this, right? We're just trying to impose things on people because that's what we want. We're not thinking about the customer. Now, the good news is that we don't need to completely redesign the website. We don't need an army of designers or developers. What we do need is to start thinking about information hierarchy. We need to start thinking about what is the best way, what are people looking for, and how can we give it to them? And essentially what we really need to do is understand the mobile user journey. What are the critical places within the mobile journey that we can help someone? And actually, we don't have to do that because Google's done it for us. And they actually call it the, the micro moments. And they basically identified 4 points within the mobile journey that they call micro moments. And they're very kind of helpful to let us know what people are doing and what are the specific spaces within the journey that people need help. And that's what we're going to look at today. Basically, we're going to go through all the 4 points, and I'm going to give you some tips and best practices, and I'm going to show you how we optimize for these specific moments for our customers. So let's look at it. So the first moment is called the I want to know stage. Now this stage is really important because we need to understand that it's not someone who's ready to buy, it's someone that needs more information. Now when I say more information, I don't mean more information about your product or your features, I mean the value, what's in it for the customer. And that's why we have to remember that no matter what you're selling, what customers actually care about isn't the what, it's the why. No one cares about you. I know it's hard to hear, but what people really care about is what's in it for them. Basically, it's like looking at a story. Every story has 2 or 3 main characters. We have the hero, who is an everyday person, just like anyone here. And then they come to a problem. They have a challenge, and they need to solve it. And they don't know what to do, and it's a huge issue, and they come across a mentor. And the mentor doesn't tell them what to do, and it doesn't solve the problem for them. It shows the hero how to become the hero, how to solve it themselves. And this is the essence of marketing. You're not the hero, your customer is. Or this is probably how Yoda would say it. At the end of the day, the customer is the hero. We need to tell their story, not our own. And it's the difference between saying that we are the #1 app in the world, which is about us, and saying, find your perfect match. It's the small nuances that make it about the customer. It all starts with a date. This is about you. When I start working with customers, I love asking them what do they sell. And if I'm working with an insurance company, they'll usually tell me, well, we sell insurance policy. But that's actually very wrong and very incorrect, because what they're actually selling is peace of mind. They're selling a person the idea that they can go to work and not worry if something happens to their house or to their family members. And if you're selling clothes, that's also not what you're selling. What you're selling is self-esteem. How do I feel about myself? Because it's not about the t-shirt that you're selling, it's about how you feel when you're wearing that t-shirt. And this is the most important part with the I want to know stage, because you have less than 3 seconds to convince someone to stay on your website. Because in 2 seconds, someone's going to call them, someone's going to message them, the pizza's going to arrive at the door, and they're out of your website, and they're not coming back. And if you haven't convinced them within those 3 seconds, they're gone. And I say 3 seconds because actually 60% of mobile visitors actually expect a site to load in less than 3 seconds, which is insane, right? But it's not, we always look at loading time as a technical thing, but it's not technical, it's emotional. We don't have the patience to wait anymore. In fact, a 1 second delay, 1 second, that's all we're talking about, can cause 11% decrease in page views, 16% decrease in customer satisfaction, and the worst, 7% loss in conversion rates from 1 second delay on a website. Now, why do these delays happen? Because we're not thinking about the mobile visitor, because of websites like this. The images that don't load. This is just so annoying because no one is actually going to wait around for your website to load. People aren't thinking about the images that they're using on mobile, and it's such a small, insignificant thing that needs to be addressed. For example, on this website, 1/3 of it has a logo, which is just a waste. And the second part is an image that probably looks really good on desktop, but serves absolutely no purpose on mobile. It doesn't tell me anything about the product, it doesn't tell me anything about the value of what I'm getting, and it actually makes it hard for me to read and understand what's going on there. It's just a mess. And it doesn't make any sense. And all we have to do is just start thinking about the images that we're using on mobile. How are they performing, and do they make sense? Now, we said that in the I want to know stage, the most important thing is to give people the information. Now, they're not ready to buy. So here's a cool way that we use at Banana Splash to help our e-commerce sites do exactly that. So many times what we'll do is we actually identify real-time behavior on mobile. And what we'll do is we'll identify if someone is on a product page or a checkout page and they've been idle for more than 5 or 6 seconds. So they haven't been doing anything. And we'll do the simplest, most easiest thing. Want to save for later? They put in their email, they get an email to their email, and they can click on a link and purchase later. That's it. Anyone can do this. It's a simple solution that has helped us increase revenues for customers between 12 to 54% by a simple Save for Later button. Now, other than helping people save information for later, it's also very helpful to give people the information they want. So over here, for example, we have a website that sells tickets, anything from a Beyonce concert to any football game. Now, what we do is we identify the geographical location a customer came from and the page that they've landed on. So in this case, we identify that the person is in Spain and they're looking for Barcelona games. So all we had to do is say, want to see a game in Barcelona, watch it live, call us now for more information. And this helped us increase revenues for this company by 87%. And it's by simply identifying what people are actually doing, what they're looking for, and giving them that information within seconds. Okay, so that is the I want to know stage. That's the first part in the journey where customers need help. The second part is the I want to go stage. Now, this is really critical because a lot of times when people talk about this stage, they actually think that we're referring to companies that only have stores, brick and mortar stores that you have to go to. But if you have a sales team, a retention team, a customer success team that answers the phone, this is relevant to you too because people try to get to you. Either physically or on the phone, they need to contact you. And we need to make sure that we can do that. Now, just a few days ago, I spoke at MozCon in Seattle, and I was actually looking for an American Eagle store, and it was really annoying because I was in Seattle, I'm in Washington, and they're asking me what country I'm in so they can tell me where to go. And I don't really get that because there's no reason. And the same, by the way, goes for Apple. They're asking me which state I'm in. They know which country I'm in. They know I'm in the United States, but they don't know what state I'm in. And it's a simple thing to do. For example, if this company in Switzerland, what we did is basically say, okay, you're in the page, you're looking for a place to go to, then we'll simply say, navigate to the nearest location to you. You click on it, and Google Maps would open and show you how to go. It would definitely help me in China if I had that. But just simply doing that helped people arrive to the stores and increase their conversion rates by 25%. But as we said, it's not just if you have a brick and mortar store, it's also if you have people who want to contact you, who want to call you, or who want to talk to someone. So this is a Yellow Pages website, which is really annoying because this whole website is meant to give you information about how to contact someone, and it's a mess. Like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to contact anyone on this page. Now, we said we don't need to completely redesign your website, but the contact page, that is a huge, huge element. And all you have to do is make sure you have the right phone number so people can find it immediately, and that you have an easy to fill in form. That's it. Now, we did this for a B2B company, and by simply helping people find the phone number quickly, we helped them increase their conversion rates by 97%. But here's another tip. There's one thing that really annoys me when I get on a website. If you have people who can answer a phone from certain time, from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., don't ask me to call you at 7 p.m. because it really annoys me that I'm going to call you and someone's going to say, I'm sorry, we're not here to answer your call. Then why ask me to call? Why don't you just give people the option to leave their phone number and we'll call you back? It's the smallest, simplest things that help people and make it easier and less frustrating to be on a mobile site. Okay. The third stage is the I want to do stage. I love this image. It's so true, right? I mean, every day, millions of people Google things to find out how to do stuff. So how do you put makeup on a certain way? How do you make apple pie from bananas? And how do you create the best Facebook ads in the world? People are looking for this thing. They need this information. Now, these are people that already have been to your website. They might have actually converted already. They might have signed up. They might have already made the first step. But now they want to know more. And in order to do that, we need to give them the right information. And it's also a great opportunity for us to start collecting leads and nurturing them. But this is definitely not the way to do it. Can I have your email address before you scroll? And then if you look at this website, it's actually a really cool one. They're called manilab.co. And basically, the more you scroll, it just keeps telling you, can I have your email now? Can I have your email now? It's really annoying. But this is how it feels when you're on the phone, right? Because it's not just about what you say, it's also about when you say it. That is critical for any stage within your mobile journey. So for example, Digital Marketer is a really cool website, and they actually deliver content on marketing. And you can get anything you want there, how to create Google ads, how to create Facebook ads, and basically anything. And what they do with us, with Banana Splash, is they basically identify the content the person has landed on. So if someone has landed on a Facebook article for how to create better ads, they will ask them if they want to download their PDF, the Facebook ad guide. And this really helps them because then they can collect leads, and then they can put them in the drip campaign and kind of nurture them. And they actually did an A/B test with just a click to link. So you would click on the Learn More button, and you'd be sent to a landing page, and there you could download the PDF. And the idea here is that if you landed on a Google article, then you would get the relevant information there, because people are looking for information on how to do stuff, so we're going to give them that information. Now, they did this, and they got 30,000 more views on their mobile guide and 3,000 more leads. And it's by simply identifying the page the person is on, it's giving people what they were already looking for. We didn't redesign the website, we just gave the right information at the right time. Okay, so now I think we get to the most important part of the mobile journey, and the one that we all care about, which is the I want to buy stage, right? This is, I'm ready to convert, I'm ready to sign up, I'm ready to subscribe, I'm ready to buy, whatever. Now let's do it. Like, the most annoying and frustrating thing is I'm about to put in my credit card number, and it says, and it gives me a keyboard with letters instead of a numeric keyboard. Or if I'm trying to put in my email, then there's a number keyboard. Now, these are small, tiny fixes you can work on with your developer that will reduce frustration and actually help people convert. And actually, there was an annoying thing that happened to me this morning at the hotel. I'm staying here at this amazing hotel, and in order to get Wi-Fi, my free Wi-Fi, I need to enter my email, and I need to put in my name. And I put in my email, and I didn't notice, but I had an extra space. And it wouldn't allow me to submit. It kept saying that you have an error, and it won't say what the error is. And it took me about 2 minutes to identify what the problem was. Now, I really wanted Wi-Fi, so I spent the time, figuring out, oh, okay, there's an extra space. I deleted the space. It works. Whatever. But if I'm a customer, I'm not going to spend that time to realize what the problem is. I'm just going to go out and find your competitor. And it's these small, tiny things that are so frustrating that make absolutely no sense. And here's another thing that drives me nuts, is desktop solutions used on mobile. Pop-ups. Pop-ups work amazingly well. I'm one of the biggest advocates for pop-ups, but I'm not an advocate for people using desktop pop-ups on mobile, because this is what they look like. You have no option to exit, the field is cut in half, and it just says, sign up now. Why? I can't even find all the content that I wanted, that I'm trying to get to, is blocked by your annoying pop-up. There's absolutely no way that I can actually get what I want done because you are blocking everything for me, and I'm going to leave. And there are also a lot of amazing products you can use on mobile that look native, that make sense, that I would actually use and convert on. Another thing that is the most basic thing in the world is having a landing page without a million calls to action. So this is actually a client of mine, so I'm okay with telling how crap this is. But I don't get why a landing page has a share button. And what life have you ever landed on a landing page and said, oh, I'm going to Google Plus that page? What? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's the most easiest thing. I'm not going to stay on your landing page. I don't understand what you want me to do. And it's the most basic rule in conversion optimization. Tell them what to do. It's so simple, and yet no one actually remembers how to do this. Now, this specific website I was showing you before has a mobile app, but they actually only have an Android app. And it's really cool because you can download it, and it gives you a universal remote. But again, it only works on Android, so why bother people on iOS? So what we did is actually, if people arrived from iOS, we asked them if they wanted to leave their email and be notified when there's an iPhone app ready. But here's the thing I said before, it's not just about what you say, it's when you say it. So you didn't enter the landing page and immediately get a pop-up in your face. What happened was we identified if you were a returning visitor. If you've been twice or 3 times to the website, I know that you're more engaged and you're more interested. And then if you scrolled at least 3 times, then I know that now you're also very engaged, and that's the time to show you the pop-up. That's the time to tell you, okay, now leave your email. And we did the exact same thing for Android. But when Android, we told them to download the app. And this got them 100% more downloads, relevant downloads that actually brought down their bounce rate, their uninstall rate, and they brought up their engagement rates, because people that were downloading the app now actually knew what they were downloading, and they wanted to keep the remote. Actually, there's a thing that within 30 days, most apps, lose 90% of their daily active users. So you're spending a lot of money and time on sending people to an app that people might not actually want to use. So it's basically, you want to make sure that the people that are downloading your app are relevant for you and not going to uninstall it. So when it comes to mobile design and when it comes to this critical area, it's all about trust. It needs to be immediate. It needs to be relevant. You need to have one call to action, and it needs to look native. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I use an iOS device, but there are people here who also use an Android device. And we have a different look and feel on our phones. And the better we understand what device a person is using, the more native of an experience we can give them. And it feels better in my hands because it seems familiar. Now, here are the last 2 important tips I'm going to give about this stage. We said that many times people don't feel comfortable purchasing on mobile or converting on mobile, but we can give them incentives. So here's the most well-known incentive that people have ever used, which is a pop-up. Sorry, a coupon. A coupon for 10%. So this company basically gave 10% off site-wide for anyone who checked out on mobile, but only on mobile. It's a coupon. It's 10%, and it increased their revenues by over 260%. It's insane. And it's by simply knowing when to show it. Because you can see here, too, people were scrolling. Oh, okay, now we know that they're interested. Let's give them the coupon. And the same thing goes for shipping. Free shipping. You would click on this pop-up at the bottom, and it would add it to your cart, and that increased their revenues by over 79%. Just by saying that they have free shipping and by helping people convert on mobile. Okay, so if there's one thing, guys, that I want you to take away from me today, is that we're not using mobile as a replacement for desktop. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is using mobile in a whole different way. And only when we decide that mobile visitors are not mini desktop visitors, when we understand this, we will be able to give them the best experience ever. And I think that's the next step for us. That's what we need to do. So thank you very much for listening. That's my dog over there. Guys, we have a free mobile guide if you want to download that, and I'm going to be here for the next few hours, so feel free to ask me any questions that you have or contact me. Thank you very much.